I had a dream last night. It wasn't my dream. Well, the characters were all my friends, but the idea was inspired by something that happened to a distant relative of mine during colonial times. Well, I assume it happened. I read it in her diary a few years ago. It started with my house catching fire. I burst through the front door coughing and immediately thought to call the fire brigade. But then I remembered I don't have a phone because it's the 1600s. But also, they didn't have firemen back then anyway. I remember everyone in the town stopped what they were doing, ran up to my house, formed a line from the well to my house, and as a team, passed buckets of water to the fire. And all my friends were there in the line, but they were people in this town. They were the blacksmith, the baker, the shoemaker, the farmer. They all fought this fire as a community. But they only saved half my house, and there was no insurance back then. So James, who in my dream was a carpenter, supervised us as we all started to rebuild it over the summer. Everyone helped. Nicole brought us homemade lemonade, the only kind of lemonade back then, and we all kind of worked together in the sun as the children played games together. Then for dinner, Oscar, who in my dream was the tavern owner, told us all to come and eat pies for free, but only if we brought our revolvers, because he knew out-of-towners were coming. So we all showed up with our guns in our belts to make sure our friend was safe. The out-of-towners behaved. I mean, there were too many of us there, even if they did want to start trouble, because I knew everyone. All my friends were there in the tavern. My great-great-great-great-grandmother was there too, exactly like in her diary. When her husband, who was a farmer, died, she struggled to care for her children and run the farm. And there was no welfare back then. So that Christmas, a bunch of townsfolk arrived on her doorstep with food and gifts and medicine for her sick child. It was a lovely moment. The most charitable donation was from an old war veteran who'd saved all his money but had no children of his own, but saw a loving family and decided to give it all. This man was a real person. I remember reading it in her diary. But in the dream, this man was me. The look on her face. If my apartment caught fire now, strangers would appear, to put it out. If violent out-of-towners appeared, I don't call my neighbors, who I don't know anyway. Strangers would appear to apprehend them for me. And that's if they even got violent, because the men protecting us would have detected negative behavior patterns and apprehended them before that even happened. And before that, hyper-aggressive genetic traits would have been screened for. And they'd be counseled. And unlike my ancestor, when I need help, when I need something, the town doesn't have to come together. I just fill out a form and strangers give it to me, as long as my score remains high enough.